Greetings, tubers. MZ here for Who's the Savage Now? Not me. Maybe you, not me. Who's the Savage Now? This is my channel where I expose all sorts of hooliganism, news hooliganism, and other atrocities across the internet and beyond. Today, we also like to do animal rights advocacy here on Who's the Savage Now. My first videos were on the Korean dog market, which is still ongoing, and so please support animal rights groups everywhere. But if you want to support the Korean dog situation, there's a great organization, koreandogs.org, koreandogs.org. Go there and make a donation, sign their petitions. Also, Last Chance for Animals right here in Los Angeles. Chris DeRose's organization. It's a fine animal rights organization. They do long-term exposés on animal rights abuses in slaughterhouses and that type of stuff. And Mark Ching's group is called Animal Hope and Wellness Foundation. The Animal Hope and Wellness Foundation. They're right here in Los Angeles too. He does a lot of work with Asian dogs, saving Asian dogs from the dog meat industry. It's widespread over there, a lot of countries, not just South Korea, North Korea most likely. Now I just heard that the other day on Ellen that Sandra Bullock was talking about a facialist using the foreskin of Korean infants as a skin treatment product, and they were laughing about it on Ellen. Check it out. Pretty gruesome stuff. We're finding out that it's not just the animals that people are torturing and doing all kinds of weird things to, but they're actually humans too are being trafficked, sex trafficked, slave trafficked, organ donor trafficked, organ parts, organ trade. Oh God, it's ugly. It's ugly. But today, I just had to make a video today because we had another topsy-turvy moment in the internet world. For about 4 months or so, I've been watching this guy Jason Goodman on the internet and his show Crowdsource the Truth, and really getting behind it. I became a subscriber. I became a patron sponsor. I became a fan of Jason and a supporter of Jason and his work, and with Charles Ortel and exposing the corruption of the Clinton Foundation, and I thought I really liked Jason and the work he was doing, and he was being attacked by these people, and it was a big drama. And now come to find out, the guy's it was a big setup. It was a big setup. And I know Charles Ortel right now must have a knot in his stomach the size of a basketball, watching this guy go sideways like this. He was down in Venice Beach just the other day, walking around asking about Charlie Manson. Meanwhile, he knows nothing about Charlie Manson. He didn't even know he died recently. Didn't know that he was trying to get a music contract. Didn't know one fact about Charles Manson, and he claims to be doing research about Charles Manson. So you figure it out. And then the video with Harmon Wifred, which is what I wanted to talk about, because it was just so obvious to me, and I made a record number of comments on there. Because I was watching it over and over again, I wasn't trying to be harassing. As I was watching it, these comments were coming to my mind. Like, why are they doing this? Why is he saying that? Why did Jason initiate the discussion about Moses? I mean, how many times was Moses mentioned? The word Moses in the bulrushes. The things people say on camera matter, okay? Not always, but a lot of the times, the things that they're talking about, the way they describe them, the names that they use, it matters to me, to anybody that cares about language and cares about these types of things. You pick up these cues, and you know when someone's bullshitting you. You can tell their body language, their expressions, the words they use, the effusiveness of their speech and whatnot. So it was obvious to me, and I was making a bunch of comments like, why at one point he says he has 2 kids. I remember specifically. midway through the video somewhere he says, oh, I have 2 kids. Then later he introduces us to 3 photos of 3 children that he says are his, the oldest of which is named, you guessed it, Tyler. How weird is that? How awesome is that? That was one of my comments. Hey, that was one of my comments. Harmon Wilfred's oldest son is named Tyler. How awesome is that? Okay, that was the whole comment. And then this guy, Joe Napoli, the potted plant on many a crowdsource the truth video, guy sat there like I've watched several videos of him sitting there like a potted plant while Jason talks to somebody, and then they go check in with Joe, and Joe's like, yeah, did you check my website? I did. Yeah, give out your website, Joe Napoli. Give out your personal business website address, and yeah, I mean, that's what I took. You know, I don't know the guy. I don't know the guy. I know what I saw on Jason's show, and he sat there. I had no animus towards the guy before he made his comment to me about my vile comments. But if he's going to call my comments vile, comments like Harmon Wilfred's son is called Tyler. How awesome is that? What's vile about that? It's a question. It's you know, I'm asking a question. It's a legitimate fucking question. It's a legitimate fucking comment, Joe. Okay? So I called Joe out on that. I said everything. You know, look, man, these are comments. I'm watching this stuff. I'm allowed to comment. If YouTube didn't want you to comment over 10 times, they'd cut you off. He said I made 67 comments. I said, well, thanks for counting, Joe. Maybe I was just trying to see how long it would take to get somebody on the inside to respond to my comments. 67 seems to be the number. Thanks, Joe, for your fine efforts there. Appreciate that. And meanwhile, why don't you roll up your sleeves and go help your buddy Jason dig up some evidence on this story? Because it's morphing into a Jerry Springer-esque Geraldo Rivera news disaster carnival sideshow. It already is that now. So, and I just feel bad for Charles Ortel. I know he's tripping out because he's linked very publicly with Jason. Very publicly. He's linked with Jason. And so he's going to take a hit. I don't know what the aftermath of this is going to be. But I think his research is so solid and the wheels are in motion now. I don't think they can stop it now. But this certainly won't help the matter. Certainly won't help the matter. Oh, Charles Ortel, he was the guy working with Jason Goodman. Yeah, isn't Jason Goodman investigating the Charlie Manson children cult? Yeah, isn't he the one that working with Quinn Michaels, and they're tracking down Charlie Manson people, walking up to random people? What do you know about Charlie Manson? And then Quinn's like trying to put it all together. Quinn's like, oh yeah, he do something, and he do something, and then they come by. These guys come by on the scooters, they're moving product. It's like, oh my God. So Jason's gone from a respected news source on the internet, which I considered him, to a laughingstock, a complete laughingstock LARPer news hooligan. And you want to talk about vile. That's pretty vile. That's pretty vile. And capitalizing, attempting to capitalize, attempting to monetize, garnering or seeking fame or celebrity, Joe Napoli, in the aftermath of a shooting is also pretty fucking vile. My YouTube comments, not so fucking much. Not one word of profanity in those comments, I might add, Joe. Still waiting to hear from Joe about that. What do you got to say now, Joe? What do you got to say now? Anyway, I wanted to go, it's so pathetic. I don't even want to do it. I don't even want to go over, I don't even want to listen to it again. I just couldn't believe my eyes and ears when I was watching it. And I guess we can go over a couple of things. I guess we can go over a couple of things. Let's see. I recorded it for your listening pleasure. So Jason goes to New Zealand. He goes to New Zealand.
For truth. And then the handsome Robin.
Oh, wait a minute. That's Field McConnell.
I just learned of.
That's Field McConnell.
And I will not share.
That's Field McConnell right there. So Jason goes to New Zealand. Does an interesting story on Hillary Clinton's speech.
Getting here, but finally
does an interesting story on Hillary Clinton's speech, a sort of subversive underground thing. He's talking to people, and he's really playing up this Harmon Wifred thing. America's first refugee, and I made a bunch of comments. Jason, stop saying that. It's highly unlikely that this is the first time the government has marginalized someone in this way. It's highly unlikely. No, he's America's first refugee. Now he's America's second world citizen. What?
I'm with you at your home.
So here he is.
And although we've known each other for some time, we've finally met.
What a pleasure.
Good to see you, Harmon. Good to see you.
You've done so much for us by getting our story out. I can't tell you how much we appreciate that.
Well, I think you've done so much for everyone by getting...
At this point, I'm still, at the first couple of times I'm watching this, I'm like, okay. Well, I can't remember if it was the first time or second time or third time where it started to sink in, but even in the later viewings, I was like, oh, did Jason realize this guy was playing him, and now he's trying to expose him by going through his house and just letting people see what a phony
the information
he is?
out.
I hope so.
One of the things I wanted to do on this trip, Harmon, was for everyone to get to know you here in your home rather than just a face behind a computer screen, which I guess we kind of still are because people are watching it this way, but this will be a kind of a more...
I don't know if I can go through this again. You can go through it. It's Harmon Wifred in exile. He just, it's too ridiculous for me to listen to, and, I don't think anyone else is listening to it at this point, but it's pretty sad when something you believe in falls apart like that. And Jason's a traitor, man. He's a traitor and a news hooligan to set up Charles like that. Was it just all a big setup to set up Charles and make him look bad for associating with you, Jason? Was that it? Or I don't get it, man. What are you getting out of this? What are you getting out of this? Really? But this is all part of the plan, is to just confuse the fuck out of everybody. And everybody's so confused, and then you don't know that what you think you knew, you don't know. What you thought Jason was telling you the truth? No. Well, he was. Charles, I still believe Charles. I still believe in Charles. Now, if they do the show tomorrow, and Charles is none the wiser, then I'll know something's up. But there was no Wednesday with Charles this week. I just tweeted him, and the tweet's gone. If you tweet at somebody, they can delete that, right? If they don't want it there. I think it was quickly deleted. I wasn't meaning to call attention to it, Charles. I just wanted to hear from Charles. I just wanted to get a word from Charles. Like, Charles, what's going on, man? I want to hear from Charles. Charles has got to be like just pulling his hair out right now. Like, oh my God, I can't believe it. They were friends. They were hooking up at book talks and books they're linked very publicly. Jason Goodman and Charles Ortel, those two names are very linked, and it's sad to see what Jason did. It's sad. What a weasel. What a traitor. How vile is that? That's really vile. To earn somebody's trust like that, like he did with Charles, to earn his trust and to build what they built together, week after week, month after month of relentless exposing the corruption at the Clinton Foundation, which exists, by the way, I still believe. But that's what they want to do. They want to bring a wrecking ball in and just to everything. Oh, well, you're Charles Ortel. He was with Jason Goodman, and Jason Goodman is a wingnut. We now know. So that's guilt by association, right? So it's going to be a tough thing for Charles to get out of this. We might as well try and play a little bit of it, but it's pretty.
For intimate introduction, why don't we go inside the house? It's a beautiful home,
It's a beautiful home, by the way.
And this is a rental home.
It's one that Carolyn and I.
A rental home. A rental home. Huh. A rental home. That's the first sign. A rental home. So they're just like, they move around. What, 17 years there living. Well, he said after the earthquake we had to relocate, and we didn't. This was the best we could get, $1 million home in this exclusive neighborhood. Like, right there is like a red flag. Oh, this is the best you could do, huh? Yeah, we really had to take whatever we could.
Rented. We couldn't, after the earthquakes, we couldn't find a house that wasn't.
Couldn't find a house that had 9 bedrooms and 4-car garage and 3 dining rooms and a formal master bedroom, and we just couldn't find anything where we could put all our stuff.
Already rented it. There was tens of thousands of homes destroyed, and so we just had to take what we could get, and
just had to take what we could get. Just that $1 million house on the hill, exclusive neighborhood, 4-car garage. Just had to take what we could get. Do you see how we're suffering here, Jason? Do you see how bad it is?
Obviously, this is a very, very nice home. We paid a bit more for it weekly than we wanted to, but we had to get into a house.
Who pays rent by the week on a house? Who pays rent by the week? They put it right in your face, folks. They just stick it right up in your face. Who pays rent by the week in a $1 million home? Harmon Wifred.
The house that we were in had been destroyed, and so everybody was scrambling for anything they could get. Since we arrived here,
working on a shoestring budget here, doing this with a couple of phones. So I hope you appreciate the effort.
Of course,
subscribe
with all of the economic downturn going on after the earthquakes, things have been pretty rough for us, but we've managed to sort of hold the
rough times in the 8-bedroom mini mansion with the 4-car garage.
The line, but when Carolyn left here in September 2015, and then all of a sudden couldn't return, I ended up being stuck here without her, and it didn't make any sense for me to try to move because moving was too expensive, and there wasn't a lot that I could move to anyway, so I've just managed to maintain this, hoping against hope.
I wonder if
that we could bring her home. And every day that goes by, every week that goes by, every month that goes by, we think that it's possible. And now that's gone on now for 2 years and 8 months, which is just unbelievable for us.
Right.
We would never have believed it. And visiting with my attorney this morning,
visiting with his attorney this morning. Where is your attorney? Why isn't your attorney on camera with you right now, defending you, providing credibility and a professional legal perspective to this farce? Because you know why? Because it's a farce. It's a cartoon of a story.
You know me really well. The guy's wife came out and she gave me a hug and she said, "I just can't believe that the government." See,
it's all emotion. It's all anecdotal, emotional evidence. Oh, my lawyer's wife came out and gave me a hug. I can't believe it. It's all just syrup. It's all syrup, no substance.
Is doing this to you. She said this makes no sense at all, and yet from a legal
the lawyer's wife, it makes no sense at all. So it must not make sense if the lawyer's wife said it.
We keep trying our best
who we don't
to
know,
see what we can do. This has got to be political. This has got to be something that's really hidden,
right?
And we just can't seem to dig it up yet. But she said we will never stop.
And Harmon, I think it's worth mentioning that although you've had your problems with the New Zealand government and you're America's first refugee,
there he goes. America's first refugee. Okay, they're pushing. There's certain things that they push. They want the headline title, like clickbait or whatever. I don't know why they're pushing that, but it can't be true. The U.S. government has been fucking people over for decades. He can't be the first.
You've been a very successful businessman, so owning or renting a home such as this is certainly something that you deserve for your hard work, and everybody wants to be successful.
Well,
good point, Jason. He deserves a $1 million home on the hill. He deserves it.
I'm holding down the home front.
I'm holding down the home front, he says.
I want my wife to come home. This is our home.
Right.
You want your wife to come home? No fucking duh.
As we go through this,
they're overemphasizing the obvious here. Clear sign of
house, you will see that everything
bullshit.
That you look at in this house tells you that there's a woman here, that there's a couple that lives here.
Well, let's
And
take a look. Let's go
we've
outside.
been pretty well off, generally speaking. Although we've had to struggle, like everybody else here after the earthquakes.
Right.
We're continuing to hang in there, quite frankly.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that some people, you know, will see this home and feel it's maybe much nicer than their own home. Certainly, it's way bigger than my apartment in New York, and it's a beautiful home.
You're goddamn right, Jason. Some people will see this home and feel that it's better than their own home and think, what the fuck is going on here? Why are you trying to generate sympathy for this guy? He's living in a mansion, a mini mansion. In New Zealand, he's all alone. Wah, wah, wah. Doesn't have his wife. Man the fuck up, dude. Man the fuck up.
It's a beautiful neighborhood.
Yeah.
This house over here kind of reminds me of the Brady Bunch.
Okay, now notice the references they bring in. Brady Bunch. Why mention the Brady Bunch? It looks like a house out of the Brady Bunch. Okay, but people use languages and images and phrases for a reason, especially people involved in making videos and putting out information. This is information manipulation. This is information and fact manipulation that Jason's doing now and Harmon is doing now. It should be illegal. This, this type of manipulation. This should not be protected speech.
The Kiwis' sense of architecture is very different.
It's a beautiful neighborhood.
It takes you back. Some of the architecture here takes you back to the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
You know? But that's
Harmon even looks a lot like Douglas Gabriel. He's got the glasses, the silver hair. They look like they came right out of the same LARP class together.
Home, and then as you look at the other homes just further down the road, it's every kind of architecture imaginable. That house you're looking at there just got built in the last year and a half, and Carolyn and I were sort of teasing them that it's with no windows out front and those big long windows, it looks a bit like a prison.
Oh boy.
And then he mentions a prison, and they both chuckle. You hear that? You hear that? They put it right in your face. There's a prison. We're not in it. Ha 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 ha. Chuckle, chuckle. Snicker, snicker. There's a prison. We're free. We're over here. We're not in the jail. Ha ha ha. Fooled you.
And yet it's been bought and sold now. Last year and a half, it's been bought and sold twice. So people have bought it, sold it, and somebody else has got.
In the last year and a half, it's been bought and sold twice. Okay, that's a real stable neighborhood there. That's a real stable neighborhood there. I'd be interested to know who it was that owned it and bought it and sold it so quickly. What were they involved in? Why did they have to get out of town so quickly? Why did they move in? Why did they only need a house for a short period of time? Okay? That's how criminals operate. That's a red flag right there. That's a red flag.
Into it. Right. But everybody around here is pretty nice.
Everybody around here. Where is everybody, Harmon? Where's one person that knows you around there? Where's one person that knows you around there that can say something about, well, they'd probably just
Nice.
find
I mean, they're reasonably private, but pretty nice folks.
Well, it's a beautiful neighborhood, and I think it's nice for people to see. I mean, most people in the United States, I don't think, have been to New Zealand, and it's been certainly
Most people, Jason, in the United States have not been out of their home state, probably.
substantially different than any other country that I've been to.
Because they can't afford it.
It's not like Europe. It's not like America or South America or China or anything like that. So it's interesting. It's always nice to travel.
If you tried to buy one of these homes right now, this home that I'm in would probably be around 1.2 million New Zealand dollars, which is about, what, 800,000 US dollars. Homes in New Zealand are more expensive than just about any place else in the world.
Wow. Why is that?
I suppose a lot of people want to come here at this point in time, and there's...
Now we're getting a home prices real estate lecture from Harmon, and he goes on to say that they're expensive because housing is limited. What, they can't build more houses? They don't have carpenters in New Zealand, Harmon? Usually when people need housing, they can build housing, you know? They build more. Nope, can't build any more
Always
houses.
a limited supply of homes.
Always a limited supply of homes.
Drives the price up, yeah.
What?
Well, let's go inside and take a look around and
Here we go.
talk to everybody about what's going on. I know you said you can't discuss what...
We're going inside now, so it's interesting what they want to point out and talk about and emphasize. A cuckoo clock, a Moses statue, what else? Some other stuff.
went on at the lawyers this morning. But it's also important for us to remind everybody that you're not asking for any money from any...
Can't talk about what went on at the lawyer's office. Well, why not? Where is the attorney? Have I talked about, did I mention this? I'm sorry if I mentioned this before, but where is the attorney? Why isn't the attorney standing right next to Harmon Wilfred right now? That's a red flag. That's a red flag that this is not.
Anyone,
No.
you're not asking for anything other than
We're just getting Harmon's opinion. This is the whole story according to Harmon. We're not getting any other opinions here. And then he talks about Carl, his wife's his father-in-law, who's deceased, so you can't libel the dead. So he can say anything he wants about him. But he also talks about Carolyn's brothers, who they're in a lawsuit with. Well, they're not public figures, okay? So he's talking all this crap about, he's defaming these people, and that could be liable. That could be, you know, slander. You're saying these people are evil, and you know, because they're trying to take money from Carolyn or something. But we don't know that. We don't know that. We don't.
story out and to get.
That was one of my comments too, on the comment section, that Joe Napoli called vile. I'm sure Carl would have a completely different opinion on Harmon's version of events, but who cares about that? That was one of my comments. Not so vile, really, just sort of a legitimate question, I think, in my mind.
Get my life back and get my family restored.
Right. So here we go. This is like Harmon Wilfred Cribs. You ever see that show on MTV?
He's got a weird laugh. That's a weird freaking snicker.
No.
This is the front door, right?
That's the front door, that's right.
So I'll follow you.
Sure.
Take us on a little tour.
That was also one of my comments. Not vile.
And this is
mean,
great
a
because
little
people
mean,
are going to get.
a little mean maybe, but not mean-spirited. I'm trying to point out inconsistencies that I see, and just general things that I see, observations about the interview, which is my right.
To know you now.
And there's a chicken in the pot. You can smell that chicken.
It smells delicious.
Too bad you can't transfer that on.
Chicken in the pot. What chicken in the pot? These people talk in code or something, you know. If he's chicken in the pot, does that mean something? You know, like pizza means pedophilia. Chicken in the pot, does that mean something? And he wants to transfer the smell onto the camera.
On the camera.
Freak.
Yeah. Okay. So take us through the house, Harmon.
Let's see if this is lights on here.
So where do they go? So they're going to go to the house. Where do they go? And what do
You're
they
going to
talk
see
about?
my unmade bed, but that's okay. Because
Unmade bed. Why an unmade bed? He's in such a hurry. His life is so fast-paced, and he's got so much to do. He's just ran out of the house, didn't have a chance to make his bed. But he's also this lonely guy living in this house all alone. Nobody to come by. Nobody, just a cat. But meanwhile, he had to run out of the house so fast, couldn't make his bed. We're getting two competing opinions.
that's the way I ran out this morning. So you get to see me the way I am. I know. This is there's two sets of
So
garages
busy.
in this place, and this is my
Two
workout
sets
room.
of garages in this place, he says.
Oh, very nice.
This is my gym, if you want to call it that. And this is where Carolyn and I, that's Carolyn's little workout seat there that she uses. She's got a vibration machine. We've got a cross trainer, a Bowflex, and just behind you here is a inversion table.
Oh, I love
We
those
use quite a
things.
lot as well.
Inversion table, very interesting, because shit is getting turned upside down right now. The fucking whole paradigm is shifting for me regarding Jason Goodman. I really feel duped. I really feel duped. And that's part of the other thing too. That's what they want to do. They want to set you up in this thing, and then just pull the rug right out from under you, and you're spinning. Meanwhile, you're spinning, going, "Oh no, it's not what it was. It's not what I thought it was. I was duped. I was tricked. If I can be tricked, who else? Everybody can be tricked. And what is real? What is
Yeah,
real?
That
What
really
is
keeps
real?
your back straight and keeps you
I
healthy.
agree.
We're really into health, and Carolyn's really into
Keep your
food type
back
health.
straight.
She really believes that you have to let your medicine be your food and your food be your medicine.
Really?
I
And
agree.
so we really are into making sure that we keep in good shape. So that's the way
That's so funny that you have the gravity inversion table. I have one as well.
Do you?
Yeah,
Cool.
it's pretty rare.
Gravity inversion table, turning things upside down. That's definitely what they're doing here.
Most people
Tempting.
don't have those.
Well, and at our age, and I don't apologize for my age at 68. Hey, we're in pretty good shape.
I agree.
The master bedroom's back here.
And of course, Harmon, if there's anything that you don't want to share, you don't have to.
Oh, I left in a hurry this morning, but this is the master bedroom here.
Again, with the left in a hurry this morning. What does that mean? Left in a hurry. Where was he going? Oh, he had to go to his lawyers. Okay. Left in a hurry to meet his lawyer. But this guy, what else does he do? He doesn't have anything to do, so why would he be in such a hurry? Unless it was the lawyer called him, said, come over right away. It wasn't an appointment that he had? Why would he have left in a hurry?
The bathroom for that is just around the corner.
It's beautiful light coming in the room. It's a really lovely home. And you got a dream catcher in the window there.
Yeah.
Dream catcher.
Carolyn's really into dream catchers.
Carolyn's really into dream catcher.
I'll tell you, Harmon, when I see a house like this and think about you being all alone in it,
he just wants to cry.
Almost like it's also sad, even though it's a beautiful home.
It's not sad, Jay. It's not that sad.
You're all alone. It's so quiet here.
I know. As I say, to try to move some...
Why doesn't he rent out a room? Why doesn't he rent out a couple of rooms? He could have some people around. He could have some company.
Somewhere right now would just be ridiculously expensive. It doesn't make any sense because...
It doesn't make any sense for one man to be living in an 8-bedroom mansion with 4-car garage. That doesn't make any sense to me.
God willing, she'll be home anytime.
Or even two people. Two people living in that space. It's obscene. It's obscene. When half the world's population can't get clean drinking water, it's obscene for them to be taking up so much resources.
Office and her craft room.
Sickening.
I moved her desk out and put it in the living room so I could sort of consolidate things and not be wandering all over the house. So right now, it's a little bit messy. We're using some storage in here, but you can see all the things, all the photographs. There's a picture of the cat. There's a picture of her daughter.
Here we go with the pictures now. Picture of the cat.
She's really into kids and crafts. And
she's really into kids. Did you hear that? She's not her kids, not her grandkids, not her great-grandkids. She's just really into kids. Whose kids? Whose kids? Harmon will say the same thing later. When he's introducing his kids, he says, I just love kids. Not his kids. Not his grandkids, not his great-grandkids. He just loves kids. They put it right in your face. They put it right in your face. And you don't see it at first.
She's got her sewing machine over here, and she's going to kill me for showing you the mess, but...
No, it's not a mess. Hello, kid. You got lamb chop over there.
Our doggie passed away about a year ago and just broke her heart because we had the dog for 14 years.
Oh, and she wasn't here.
And she wasn't here, so I've had to take all the doggy stuff and put it in here to sort of get it out of the way.
He had to take all the doggy stuff and put it in here to get it out of the way. Okay, that's like me saying, instead of saying, oh, I had some coffee this morning. It's like me saying, I reached over, grabbed the cup with my right hand, brought it to my lips, tilted it, sipped some coffee, and then returned the cup to the table. That's like, instead of saying, oh, I had some coffee this morning, me describing every movement that possible to describe. And it's like too much. It's like overemphasizing the obvious, and which doesn't lend to the credibility. Your credibility. Doing that. You're just trying to fill the air.
Cat
or something.
Carrier. And while Carolyn was here, we would put the cat in there on my back, and we would walk all over the neighborhood. Everybody loved that.
Where is everybody, Harmon? Where's one freaking person that knows you in that neighborhood that can say, oh yeah, we remember you with the cat, you're the guy with the cat, you're the crazy dude with the cat carrier. Or whatever they would say. Not one person. Red flag.
But I've not been able to do that because you can't really put her in there and keep it open unless you got somebody with you to kind of look behind and make sure she's okay. So try to do that by yourself. It wasn't terribly safe. So I have not had her in that carrier since Carolyn left, and that's 2 years and 8 months ago. So
he's got his.
I mean, the room looks obviously untouched, as if she left this morning.
That's right. That's right. That's what's weird about it. I mean, she lives here. This is her home.
No, that's not the only thing weird about it, Harmon.
And to rip her away from her home, literally slamming
another emotional appeal from Harmon.
Door on her on the way out, and really fool her. They deceived her.
But he's not a great actor.
Into believing that everything was fine.
Maybe they get these guys from like acting, failed actors. They go to Hollywood. They go around Hollywood and find actors, like B, C, D list actors, Hey man, you want to make some money? We got a job for you.
That she could go over there. She had put in for her residency.
Are they even in New Zealand?
And that was in, and they said, well, you can be overseas while your residency is being considered. Blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden, bang! They slammed the door on her, and
How long did you guys live in this house together before she left?
We moved in here 2000 and what? We've been here. I just started on the 6th year back in March, and she was here. Let's see, probably
We're 35 minutes
2.5 years. She was here.
Hold on.
And how long have you lived in New Zealand?
We're 35 minutes already. We got a long way to go. I'm getting thirsty and hungry. We're only at 10 minutes. We still got 25 more minutes of video to go. I'm going to take a break here. I'm going to put this video out, see if there's any interest in it. And then if there is, I'll continue on with my analysis of this video, which is a joke. It's a waste of time. I shouldn't even be doing it, but I'm going to do it. I took the time to record it, so I'm going to put it out there and see if there's any interest in it. If there is, I'll do a part 2 and a part 3, or a part 2 and finish it. But yeah, that happened yesterday. So we'll see what happens. I feel bad for Charles Ortel, who's a good guy, is a good, honest guy, just trying to do something good during his retirement years. And then here comes Jason, a guy who says, "Hey man, I can help you get your message out. Let's make some shows together." And he had me, man. Jason, he had me all the way. I was a supporter, I was a patron, sponsor, and not anymore, but he had me all the way. And now it's just he just threw it in the toilet, and it's just sad to see. That's truly sad. That's not Harmon, and not a man in a 8-bedroom mini mansion with a 4-car garage. That's not so sad. That's not as sad as what Jason's doing right now. So leave your comments below. Subscribe if you like the content. And I'm MZ. This is Who's the Savage Now? Who is the savage now? Jason certainly is the savage now. He's a news hooligan. He's a LARPer. He's a traitor to the truth. He's a traitor to the truth. Forget crowdsource the truth. Jason is a traitor. Jason Goodman is a traitor to the truth. And the name of my show is Who's the Savage Now? And it comes from the Native Americans when they were here. The Europeans, when the first Europeans arrived, they referred to the natives as savages because they lived close to the land and took only what they needed. Well, now that the air is poisoned, the water's poisoned, the food is poisoned, the ocean is dying, the habitat for humans is dying, who's the fucking savage now? Until next time.